Okay, hi. I'm Larry Meisel, and welcome to Confidence on Camera, my secondary channel for practicing being able to talk to the camera and get relaxed and spontaneous and genuine and authentic and relatable and contact with the viewers. That's you, not me. Although lately, it's been pretty much me because I look at the analytics and, a little bit, I could use your help. So let's see what we're going to talk about today. Let's go pretty deep. And we're going from a group of discussion cards. On a scale of 1 to 10, how easy do you find it to forgive? Why is forgiveness so difficult? On a scale of 1 to 10, it varies between a 1 and a 10. And why is it difficult? It's difficult because there seems to have been an injustice done which has long-lasting negative impact. And what's most aggravating or angry-making about it is that it should have been preventable. It's a purposeful act. It didn't have to be. The person who committed the harm didn't have to do it. It was conscious intention. And we grow up with the idea that if you do something wrong, you're supposed to be punished. And so there's a sense of injustice because the person who has been harmed remains angry until the other person gets their punishment and or apologizes. But actually, when you take a look at it, the person who has done the wrong and created the harm, even if they get their punishment, it turns out it doesn't change the life of the victim in any way. When the harm doer gets what's coming to them, the person who was harmed, their life continues on regardless. And so being unforgiving and wanting retribution, wanting vengeance, wanting to see the other person get what's coming to them, it seems like it would restore a sense of justice, but it actually turns out to be a rather hollow victory. There's a saying that the best revenge is to have a good life. To go on and overcome and recover from the damage that was done. And there's a wonderful book by a psychologist whose name I can't remember right now, but the title of the book is Forgiveness is a Choice. And Richard, maybe it'll come to me, but he makes a wonderful point that he defines forgiveness as a choice to let go of anger and resentment that you have a perfect right to, and to develop feelings of understanding, compassion, and goodwill for the person who harmed you, even if they don't deserve it. A lot of people hold on to their anger and don't forgive because the person hasn't gotten what's coming to them, and they also feel like their anger is part of the punishment that the person is getting. And they shouldn't forgive until they get an apology. And So regarding the person not getting what is coming to them, as I just said, that doesn't really restore the victim to wholeness. And the victim can go on about their life and overcome the damage done. And then holding on to anger and resentment, the saying is that holding on to anger and resentment is like holding on to a hot coal, waiting to throw it at someone, or drinking poison and hoping that the other person gets sick. And then whether or not the other person deserves it, whether or not the other person asks for forgiveness, forgiveness is good for the person doing the forgiving. It's letting go of the anger and resentment. Anger and resentment are miserable feelings. So when you can let go of anger and resentment, you can decrease your own misery. It's good for you to do it. And whether or not the person apologizes or asks for forgiveness, the person doing the forgiving can do that regardless of whatever the perpetrator does. And Richard Enright is the name of the person, the author of the book Forgiveness is a Choice. And he makes another point about forgiveness being good for the person doing the forgiving, even if the other person doesn't deserve it. Being able to develop feelings of goodwill toward the person who harmed you. And it's not, becoming chummy buddies, but it's wanting a good life for the person who's harmed you, because maybe, hopefully, things going well for the person who did the harm, the person who caused the harm. Maybe things going well for that person can have a positive impact on their future. They can become perhaps a less toxic person. So, to recap, forgiveness is a choice to let go of anger and resentment that you have a perfect right to, even if the person doesn't deserve it, because it's good for the person doing the forgiving. It's hard to let go of because it feels like if you stop being angry and resentful, then the person is going to get away with what they have done. There's not going to be any justice. And it's hard to let go of that leave not to get justice. It's hard to not get justice. And we grow up with the idea that when somebody does something bad, they're supposed to get the appropriate punishment. And that's an expectation that we grow up with that, again, that's one of the biggest stumbling blocks, at least from my point of view, that the person is going to be able to get away with what they've done. But when I stop to think about it, hopefully when you stop to think about it, forgiving is good for the person doing the forgiving. The other person's not getting away with anything. They still have to live with what they've done. So that's about enough for now. I'm going to post this to my YouTube channel, Confidence on Camera. And hopefully there are people out there who are going to be watching and learning from my mistakes, coming up with ideas about how you would like to develop your own personal style, seeing, perhaps helpfully, maybe seeing things that you would like to utilize, or seeing things that you want to make sure to steer clear of. But just the experience of repetition is a good thing to practice. The cliche, the saying is, To get comfortable talking to the camera, you just have to put in the reps, and familiarity breeds comfortability. So that's all for now, and we'll just end it right here.